Hello! Welcome to my channel. This is my first video, so I have no idea what I'm doing. I have been putting this off for a while because, well, the first video is always tragic. There's just no way around it. So, anyways, my name is Bianca, and today I am 358 days sober. I am a recovering alcoholic, and the last 6 years of my life have been a complete hell. So I decided to share my story because I'm an obnoxious millennial who loves oversharing on the internet. No, but seriously, I have had a lot of friends and family in my life encouraging me a lot to start a blog about my experience in the hopes that maybe it could help someone else. But it's 2021 and like, who reads anymore? So I decided to start a YouTube channel. But the only problem with that is that I would be showing my face while telling the world how much of a drunk slut I was. So that's another reason why I put this off, because sharing some of this stuff is really scary. I have always thought of myself as being an open book. I had no problem telling the world that I was an alcoholic, that I have clinical depression, and that I take antidepressants, and there's no shame in any of that, but I think a lot of people like to keep that stuff private. It took me starting this channel to realize that maybe I'm not so open about everything. So I will now use this meme by @DSMeme5 to illustrate. I have quite the collection of recovery memes, and I will be using those throughout my videos to communicate things that I just don't have the words for. So I wanted to start this channel because I think society has a certain view of how an alcoholic looks. A lot of people think an alcoholic is a hobo in dirty clothes, living under an overpass, and panhandling for their next drink. And there are alcoholics like that, but the majority of people that I have met in sobriety, they look completely normal. They have good jobs, a nice house, some are married and have kids, and you would never think that they had a drinking problem. There are a lot of people who are functioning alcoholics and can keep it hidden for quite a while, but the problem with being a functioning alcoholic is that you're still an alcoholic, and although you might be showing up for work and other things to maintain a normal looking life, you're probably dropping the ball somewhere else, like at home or being present with your family. You know, there's always going to be something that suffers. I am not a functioning alcoholic whatsoever. When I start drinking, my life goes to complete shit. I can't keep track of anything. It's just chaos. I drink every day. I will drink in the mornings, and if I want to drink somewhere that I shouldn't be drinking, well, I just put my Pinot Grigio in a water bottle and get drunk while waiting in line at the DMV. So a lot of people who don't suffer from the disease think that it's a choice, that alcoholics can just stop whenever they want to, but they are making the choice not to. It's a very complicated disease. There is the physical part of it where you are physically addicted and need alcohol to not die. And then there's also the emotional parts, and you know, you have to deal with the traumas that you were using alcohol to numb and get away from, and then you also have to deal with all of the shitty things you did while you were drinking. It can be a very overwhelming journey, and a lot of people don't want to do that. Sometimes it's just easier to drink and die than face those things. Also, with COVID happening and being quarantined, it has forced a lot of people to take a look at their drinking habits. And it's affected a lot of women. NPR did an article about this like crazy spike in women, younger women with liver disease, and that's because women process alcohol completely different from men. I'm not a scientist, I can't explain exactly why, but basically what I've heard is that we have different enzymes in our stomach that just break down alcohol differently than the enzymes in a man's stomach. And also because we are smaller than men, it starts to just affect us sooner. The average age of when it starts to affect a woman's health is 35, whereas the average age of when it starts to affect a man's health is 65. So those lucky bastards get 30 more years of fun. I know it's not fun, but it's destruction. I started having problems with my health a whole decade earlier than that. When I was 24, my doctor sat me down, looked over my lab work, and said, "Bianca, if you do not stop drinking, you're not going to make it to 30. And that was heartbreaking. Not even the death part. The heartbreaking part was that I was going to have to separate myself from my best friend in the entire world. By that time in my life, I had moved back home to my parents' house and completely isolated myself from all of my friends. My drinking was really sad by that point. There was no going out social kind of drinking. All of my drinking was me locking myself in my bedroom all by myself, drinking straight out of the bottle, and that's what it was. So yeah, I was super angry that I had to stop, and there were a lot of times where I thought to myself that it would be easier to drink myself to death than to get sober. That's just where I was at the time, and even a couple years later, I really felt that way. I just wanted to drink myself to death. I guess I'm here, so I'm glad I didn't, but yeah, when you're going through this process, it can be very hard for some people. I know some people that they go to rehab once and then they stay sober. I, on the other hand, have been in and out of treatments trying to get sober for the last 6 years. It has been quite the process. So that took place when I was 24, and it was in 2016, so that's where my journey to sobriety basically begins. However, there is a lot of stuff that happened prior to that that played a key part in getting me to this rock bottom. So yeah, if you want to find out how I went from this to this, and if you're wondering how I ended up being a 29-year-old college dropout with a shitty car who still lives at her parents' house in a tiny bedroom with a twin bed and a giant hole in the wall, then please like and subscribe. And if you are feeling extra generous, please just leave a comment, even if it's just to say hello. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. Thank you for making it to the end of this tragic video about my tragic life. And yeah, I guess buckle up, Buttercup. It's gonna be one hell of a ride. Oh, and go read a book, okay? I don't know how to end this, so